Hello everyone. For those of you that have been following me, thank you for tuning in, and for those of you that are new, I appreciate you tuning in as well. I'm most grateful for the small group of serious numbers players that keep reviewing my videos. As always, let's get into the month of September and see what the predictions were and see how well the algorithms did and predicting which numbers came out and when. And then after we do that, we're going to look at the actual winning numbers. We'll start with the 3-digit singles first, and we'll do the 3-digit doubles last. Okay guys, stay tuned. Okay, before posting the predictions for October, here is September's prediction, and we'll take a look at this. A hit came on the 3rd, September the 3rd. The prediction was 713. Another hit came the same week on September the 6th. The prediction was 514. And the prediction came on September the 22nd. And the prediction on the list is 754. This list will be posted to YouTube prior to the evening drawing on September the 29th. So if a hit comes out this evening on September the 29th, or a hit comes out Saturday the 30th, then mark it on your play card, and that way you'll be able to help see where the next hits are going to come from. I don't think a hit is going to come out, but sometimes a hit will come out near the end of the month. So let's take a closer look at this list. So what do we know from prior videos? We know that hits will come from high-hitting columns, high-hitting rows, and we know that hits tend to hit on high-hitting days as well as high-hitting intervals. The high-hitting columns are circled in green. The high-hitting rows are circled in green as well. And the high-hitting days down where the calendar is, those are circled in green as well. And of course, the high-hitting intervals are circled in green. So normally I use the first two high-hitting columns. The only way I'll use more than two is if there's the same frequency or the frequency difference between one column and the other column is 1. That also applies to the rows and the intervals and the day. Well, what's noticeable is that the hits came on all three of the high-hitting columns. All three of the columns did not hit last month, so they hit this month. None of the high-hitting rows hit at all. Row 2 hit, and that's about it. Where did the hits come from? Well, you see that 514 is a number in sequence, and we know numbers in sequence tend to come out. Also, the 754, that's a number in sequence, and we know that numbers in sequence come out. You also see a red dot beside 754. That means that the pattern that produced that number did not hit since the beginning of the year, and it hit in September. If you move down to 259, right under 754, you notice it's a red dot beside that pattern that produced that number, and also the pattern underneath that produced 184 is a red dot beside that pattern as well. Since we're getting close to the end of the year, within 4 or 5 months from now, I guess, pay very close attention to those two patterns that have not hit, because all the patterns for this Sweet 16 3-digit single program hit multiple times, the majority of them, in 12 months. The last time all the patterns did not come out and 12 months, I believe, was in 1996. But other than that, each and every month, every single pattern will come out at least once or twice in a 12-month period. Where did the hits come from? Let's look at the calendar. We see that 2 hits came on the 3rd and the 6th. The 3rd and the 6th is not a high hitting interval, but I will say the first interval has been hitting for the last 3 months. You see the hit that came out on the 22nd, that came on the 4th interval, which has a frequency of 42, a high hitting interval. So the computer got that part right. The red check marks beside the dates just means that they are a hot hitting date. The program may hit on one of those dates or it may not. So there you have it with that. Stay tuned, and we're going to post October's listing, and we'll see where the hits are going to come from, which you probably already know. High hitting columns, high hitting rows, numbers in sequence, that type of thing. Stay tuned. Okay, here's October list, and you can guess where the hit's going to probably come from. You see that the end column and the sum column with the frequency of 46 and 56, they're the 2 highest hitting columns. Most likely hits are going to come from one, if not both of those columns. You see to the left, the highest hitting rows with a frequency of 45 and 61. They're the high hitting rows. Most likely a hit is going to be associated with those rows as well. Also, you see the word off. Anywhere you see the word off at on the listing, it just means that that particular row, column, day, interval did not hit in the previous month. And if it hasn't hit for consecutive months, then there'll be a number in front of the word off. My guess is pay attention to the 578, 394. Those the 2 patterns that produce those numbers. It's best to play them until the end of the year because eventually they will come out. Okay, you know what the key means. The X that's drawn through the numbers, you know that they are hot numbers. You know 2 of the hot numbers hit last month. And I'm quite sure that we're going to have some numbers that's going to hit from the X being intersected through them. That 394 is a hot number. Also, it's a number in sequence. Also, it's a pattern that hasn't hit yet. Okay, so we do have some numbers in sequence on the list. The 216 in the lead column is in sequence. The end column 894 is in sequence. Under that, 463 is in sequence. And of course, we have that 578 in sequence. So, but anyway, the H beside a particular number means that the pattern that produced that number hit the most in the months of October. We do have a duplicate on the list. A duplicate is a number that appeared on the prior month's list. 714 in the lead column, and then it's also in the summary column 174. We know that numbers that appear as a duplicate on one list in the prior month and then also appear in the play month tend to come out. So there you have it, guys. Let's look at where the hit's going to come from. Well, I will say that we could have a very interesting month in October. We may have more than 3 hits that we had in September. We may have more than that in October because we have 3 high-hitting frequencies. 3 high-hitting intervals with a frequency of 41, 45, and 41. Most likely a hit is going to come from one or more of those high-hitting intervals. The days we have Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are high-hitting days. A hit will probably come from one of those days. I don't think any of the high-hitting days hit last month. Hit September. So there's a good chance that a hit will come from one of those. And of course, the dates with the check box beside them just means that they high-hitting dates. And the program could produce a hit on one of those dates. It's just as a guide. So there you have it with October. Once again, hits are going to come from, most likely, high-hitting columns, high-hitting rows, high-hitting days, high-hitting intervals. Okay? So anyway, let's get into the doubles list. Okay, here's the double list. The first hit came on September the 4th. The prediction was 077. The next hit came on September the 19th. The prediction was 566. And the final hit came on September the 21st, 883. Remember, if a hit comes out this evening, the day is September the 29th, or a hit comes out Saturday, make sure you note it on the play card so that you can know exactly what came out. Where did the hits come from with the doubles? Well, you guessed it. A high-hitting column. The lead column is a high-hitting column. Also, a hit came from a high-hitting row. Also, when you look down at the calendar, you see all of the hits came from high-hitting frequencies. Okay, let's see October's prediction, and you can guess again where the hits are going to come from. High-hitting columns, high-hitting rows. You see that the rows, all of them are high-hitting rows, so a hit could come from any one of those rows. You see the end and the summary are high-hitting columns, so a hit can come from those too. You also, when you look down at the calendar, you have high-hitting frequencies. High-hitting interval. The first interval and the third interval, they are high-hitting intervals. So you can apply the exact same thing to the 3-digit single list that was discussed at the beginning of the video. All of those things apply to the doubles list, except for one thing. The double list will not hit every month. Some years it'll hit each and every month. Some years it might hit in 11 out of 12 months, or 10 out of 12 months. But anyway, there you have it, guys. Happy Halloween. I don't know what you guys are going to be doing for the month of October, but I know what I'm going to be doing for the month of October, and it ain't going to be fishing. I'm going to be playing the Merlin Lottery because I'm Gary the number runner. God bless.